My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what can you do for your country. My name is Tony Hernandez, and I'm running for the Minnesota Senate. Now, we're starting a new weekly tradition here at the Hernandez 2010 campaign. We're going to be broadcasting over the internet, delivering to you updates and information about the Hernandez 2010 campaign. And we thank you for tuning in and listening wherever you are, whatever you are, whether you're on your iPad, your smartphone, your Droid, your PC, laptop. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your attention. First and foremost, we have a huge date coming up, June 25th. That's the first day where we can put yard signs in people's yards. We're going with the blaze orange color, and we're trying to come up with a nice little slogan here. And I want to give Mr. Kelly Michael some credit. Last night, my brother Zach and his new wife Nicole, they threw a huge party at my parents' house in St. Paul, right on Selby and Wilder. Hundreds of people showed up. Everyone had a blast. We had music there from the Orange Whip. It was just an overall great time. But I was talking to Mr. Michael, who knows a thing or two about St. Paul campaigns and politics. His brother-in-law is Senator Joe O'Neill, who served the state of Minnesota back in the day. And what he told me is, he's like, Tony, he's like, this campaign is all going to be about getting your name out there. He's like, I can't stress to you how important yard signs are. He's like, you should have thousands of yard signs scattered throughout District 64 in St. Paul. Now, thousands is probably a bit of an exaggeration. We do have a goal of getting 500 signs out there. But to start with our budget restraints, we're going to go with 100 signs on June 25th, and the goal is to get 100 out there in the high traffic areas in St. Paul within a week of June 25th. So if you'd like a Hernandez 2010 yard sign, you can contact me at ajhernandez2010@gmail.com. Put yard sign in the subject line and send me your address, and I'll be sure that we get a sign posted on your yard, and I thank you in advance. So we're talking about slogans anyways, and we've been playing with the idea of restoring Minnesota prosperity. That's what we've kind of printed on some business cards and things of that sort. And I like that message, but it doesn't hit you and pull at your strings how I want it to do. And we started talking about my opponent, Senator Dick Cohen. Now, let me just be upfront. I have nothing against Senator Cohen. I thank him for his service. He first took the House in 1976. Then he moved on to the Minnesota Senate in 1987. So he's given 34 years of service to the state of Minnesota. It's time for change, though. And Mr. Michael was the one. He's like, time for change. And I was surprised because change, President Obama used change as his main message for his campaign. But Mr. Michael, I agree with you. It is time for change. The people are ready for more change in St. Paul. And that means getting rid of the old school politicians, the old ideas, and the old tired ways of doing government, and replacing it with new people. Government should be recycled. People often ask, well, Tony, what do you think about term limits? Well, as voters in Minnesota and as Americans, we have the opportunity to elect new officials every 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, depending on the position. Those are the term limits. So I'm asking for your vote this coming November 2nd. One of the main points of this broadcast is to show and to demonstrate the progress of the Hernandez 2010 campaign moving forward to November 2nd so that we do bring victory to St. Paul, to the people of Senate District 64, and the new ideas and the solution-oriented politics, and also new methods of doing legislation, of drafting legislation. We have these marvelous technologies over the internet with social networking where literally your legislator should be connected to you directly so that you can pitch ideas about legislation, so that you can offer solutions, and so that you can make your legislators aware of what's going on and affecting your family, your backyards, your home, your rent. Because there's a lot of issues that we've been facing, especially over the last 10 years. It has been rough, to say the least. The Twin Towers were knocked down. We've been fighting in 2 wars for 10 years now almost. People have lost their jobs, they've lost their wealth, and they're losing their faith as to how we're going to build this future and keep the promise for our kids and our grandkids so that they can enjoy the same freedoms that we enjoy right now, the same liberties that we enjoy, where we can choose our own destiny and work in our own mobility And the only thing that limits us is what's between your two ears, namely your brain and your attitude and your ideas. Once again, if you'd like to have a yard sign, you can contact me at ajhernandez2010 at gmail.com. My name is Tony Hernandez, and I approve this message.